Hello guys, and welcome back. Hope you're having a good weekend, or have had a great weekend. Um, so I had a few more questions on PVA that I wanted to answer, and most of them were from 21st century caveman. The background at the minute is a job I did a few years back there, and you can see I'm picking the plaster off, and that is due to the fact that I don't think the guys bonded this ceiling, and it's obviously just blew off because it was too weak. And I really am putting no effort into taking it off whatsoever. So that would be a consequences of not using PVA and just turn on. Also, this ceiling in particular was a poor quality finish. You can't really see it in the videos well, but there was a lot of marks in it, and that was probably due to they didn't really PVA the ceiling well, and I think it was maybe one coated as well. I would always do 2 coats, but I think this was possibly one coated, and there was a lot of scratches, wee holes everywhere, and that was maybe due to it wasn't PVA'd and it dried quicker, so they weren't able to actually finish it as good as they would have liked, or maybe they weren't really good enough to be doing the job in the first place. Maybe it was too big for them. But I don't want to sort of run anybody down, because everybody does make mistakes at the same time. So, but that would be a consequence of not using PVA, maybe not even mixing it right. Like all primers and stuff, you should always read the back of it, because everyone's different than the other one. But yeah, 21st century caveman was asking me about. He asked me 4 or 5 questions on PVA and wanted me to answer them. One was, what did I think of PVA? Was it a bit old, and is there better alternatives? And what did I think sort of costs and the quality and durability of the job, and is it worth the extra price? So basically, the newer things than PVA would be thistle bonded, and the costs between that and PVA would be the difference between £40 and £50. So there is a big jump. Like if you're going to do a room, and you could maybe be spending, if it's a big room, you could spend £120 on thistle bonded, because I think it's £60 a tub, so it's pretty costly stuff. Do I think it's good? Yes, I think it's brilliant. Do I think it's better than PVA? Not particularly. They both have. It's strange because they both have benefits, and probably both have slight downfalls as well. So the benefit to thistle bonded. Let's start with thistle bonded. Its benefits would be you can paint it on to really shiny surfaces. In surfaces as smooth as tile and gloss paint, you could tile it on that. I've known plasters have actually thistle gridded over tiles that wouldn't come off. These are old Belfast tiles. They're put on with a cement that is like, it's harder than concrete. It is one of the strongest things you'd ever come across. But yeah, back to that point is that they have plastered over it, and it has lasted years, and they've never had no comebacks. So I do know the thistle bonded so far that the last 2-3 years has been out there, and it has been working. So with that fact, it does work so far anyway. But comparing it to PVA has been around a lot longer. It's definitely went through its tests, and obviously you wouldn't plaster a wall without it. And not any plaster I would know at the minute would go without it. So the good thing of the thistle bonded is that you can paint them shiny surfaces and not worry about it sliding on you. Whereas if you PVA'd shiny surfaces such as that, the plaster could slide on you and move around. It would be very difficult to achieve a good finish and a solid finish, because if the plaster sets quicker than the bonding agent, you're just pushing about basically a slab of plaster, and it's going to move, and it's not going to bond, it's going to crack, it's going to go boast. So with thistle bonded, you won't have that problem ever, but there is a downfall to that. Thistle bonded is supposed to take 24 hours to dry, so you've got to think thistle bonded's more expensive in the fact that if you're going to land at a job, you'd maybe have to land the night before, paint all the walls, and you can't do any more plastering until the next day till it's dry. So that is a slight downfall of thistle bonded, where if you came in the morning and you PVA'd, say you PVA'd your ceiling around your windows, let it go tacky maybe 20 minutes, by the time 20 minutes is up and the wall's tacky, you'll have your bags of plaster and stuff ready, and you can maybe start a mix. The more you do plastering, the more you'll figure these things out, and you'll think to yourself, you'll know just by touching the PVA that it's going to be set in another 5-10 minutes, and then you'll start your mix. It maybe take you 5 minutes to get your mix done, and it'll be ready, it'll be good to go. So that's kind of the benefits of PVA versus thistle bonded there, where you could land at a job and you could start, say it's a patch, you could just start, you could tear on in. So it's they both do the same job, but sort of completely different that way. The other thing is that what was it? That thistle bonded. Where was the other question? Yeah, so he was asking me, was there a favourite mix ratio of PVA to water, or does that depend on the background of suction? But again, there's actually a clip here of thistle bonded now, so you know the stuff I'm talking about. Again, thistle bonded will probably dry quicker on a higher suction background. Higher suction background is such as bare plaster, red brick. You could prime it maybe, but it would be better scudding it, or pure PVA on, or an SPR, such as that. But yes, basically you need to read the back of the product. For certain products are different. Some of them will say on the back of it that you must brush down the surface, dilute a 4:1 mix or a 5:1 mix, paint it on, let it dry, and that'll be your dust proof or dust blocker. And then if you're going to replaster, you must do a 2:1 mix of PVA to water, or a 50-50 mix. If you go a 50-50 mix, you know it's going to be strong, but it will, again, the more PVA in it, the longer it's going to take to set, before you start putting on your undercoats or your finish coats to that. So I think I'm kind of getting that one out of the way. And then again, he was asking about if PVA dries before skimming, are you just applying plaster to a very weak surface, or can it rub off with your fingers? Again, it's not, it wouldn't be my method. I do love plastering over it when it's tacky, but you do tend to find the likes of what I'm painting here. This is actually a second coat of PVA on this particular wall, but you do find some of these glossy walls, you'll paint it on and you'll be waiting about for it to dry and get a bit tackier. Not dry fully, but get tacky. I like it tacky when you know it's tacky and you put your fingers to it, and it almost, if you can feel your fingers sticking to it slightly. So on that way, that's the experience you'll get from doing it more and more. And so basically, I don't really like letting the PVA dry fully. The first coat I wouldn't mind it drying fully, obviously, and then giving it a second coat. And you can tell when you do a first coat and a second coat, the second coat gets really sticky. Like, you can really tell a difference. But again, on the likes of this painted surface where I've went over, you can actually still sort of see the glue on the wall there. But you can notice sometimes on the sort of low suction backgrounds, the smooth painted areas, that when they go to dry, they go quickly from wet to just bone dry, because they are dry more than sucking in, so they don't. Sometimes they almost completely miss that tacky stage, and that's why you might need to go a second coat. But I would recommend you probably did do 2 coats of PVA. Most PVAs do want that sort of sealer coat first and then a second coat. But again, all PVAs are different. There's some PVAs out there that are like 10 times stronger than other PVAs, so you do really need to read them and have a think of what your background is, high suction, low suction, and so forth. So you'll be taking it as you go. Each job will be different. Every wall is different. Every scene's different. Every plastering job you ever do will be different. You will take aspects of something with you from every job that might be good on another job, but you will find that a lot of jobs are slightly different. You'll always be learning on this job as well. But his answer, basically, his question was that if you let it dry, is it going to be a weaker bond? Not particularly, because there is some PVAs that actually would ask you for it to be dry before you replaster. So no, you can do it, but again, just read your product. There's lots out there. There's Unibond, there's Super PVA, there's B&Q have a brand, Homebase probably have a brand of their own. In America, they probably have the Lowe's brand. Again, then there's thistle bond, which you will let dry. There was people I know were plastering over it when it was wet. Not a particularly good idea, considering it's supposed to be solid when you plaster over it. It actually says on it that it's a mechanical key. A bit of a weird term because mechanics move and that, so it is weird to say mechanical key, but that's what it is. It's a key more than PVA is a chemical bond more than a key. So that way, Mickey Dunlap just wrote, I use thistle bonding and I've always had great results. I'm still new to the game, and 2 years into the game I've learned a few things of this channel. So thanks Mickey for the support, mate. 100% 100% on what you're saying with thistle bonding. Yeah, thistle bonding, I haven't heard anybody saying anything bad about it. I know there's still some plasters, old school plasters, that do not trust it, but I haven't never had no problems with it. But again, I've always done things by the book with it. I've always read the back. I think the likes of even stirring it up before you use it to make sure the grit's well diluted around it, so it's not too gritty in one part, not really gritty in another part. I've always tried to really hit it on the head and always stay. You need with plastering, you do sort of need to really stay to the book, and do things. Try your best to do everything right. When I'm plastering myself, walls I plaster, I really want to last longer than my lifetime, and for them to surpass my life. So it kind of sort of says something about the way I will read things in the book and sort of test it maybe in a smaller area, and then go ahead and do the big wall or whatever it is. So the other question, 21st Century Caveman, was he skimmed over artex ceilings which had been painted and with like a silk finish, and because they were moisture resistant, it took hours for the PVA to even go tacky. What do you do, mate? Is it even worth PVAing? Yeah, then again, you'll sort of learn as you go that. So, pardon me. So yeah, again, you'll learn backgrounds again. If you're working over artex, and you gotta be safe with artex, you gotta check the dates of when it was done. Like for instance, when I'm working over stipples, I'll script them down, but if it's artex and it's a certain date, I won't touch it. I won't even touch it, guys. Again, you gotta think, if you're gonna cover up artex, you got to think about the person coming behind you in 10, 20 years and thinking, oh, that ceiling's cracked, or it's whatever it is. If it's went bad, he wants to rip it down. You got to think about him. He doesn't know what's there, so you don't really want to, you don't want to be covering up problems. So jobs like that, if you're not sure, get it tested. If you're not sure, don't do it. That way, so you gotta stay safe when it comes to artex. It's no joke. There is chemicals and there is crap out there that will kill you. It'll kill you faster than you think as well. The likes of asbestos, it will affect one person completely different than it can affect another person. It's a crazy chemical. And the reason they used it so much, guys, the reason people used artex is something people don't really talk about, but they used it because it was so versatile. It was so strong. I think you can burn it to so much temperatures and it won't go away. It'll still be there. It'll still be sitting there. You can try and crush it and all. Like I'm talking about the particles, you can try and crush it. It won't go away. It's still there. You can buy it. It won't go away. It's still there. The thing doesn't go away. It's a wee bit like plastic, if you know what I mean. It's just going. Once it's created, it's there. It's a thing. It's not going away. So probably when you breathe that into your lungs, your body cannot get rid of it. Your body can't break it down. Like if you think about it, if heat, acid being buried in the ground won't rot it down, won't take care of it. Our bodies will not take care of it. Our bodies cannot adjust to certain things like that. So you gotta be on the ball. You gotta look after yourself and think, is this job worth it? Like you may only be getting a few pounds for the job, so you gotta also think, if somebody wants to do it the wrong way, let them do it. But you don't have to do what they want, especially if it's going to be your health at risk. So, but yes. Let's say, for instance, the artex is fresh artex and it's free of asbestos. You still got a PVA. But again, if you feel safer hitting it with the thistle bonding and letting that dry, that'll work. That'll prime it in. That'll seal any bits you did scrape off that are bare. It'll seal them a slight bit, and you'll be good to go the next day when the thistle bonded has cured and ready for plastering. So if you come across the ceiling that's not setting, because it is a silt paint, like paper, it's a bit of a plasterer's nightmare. There are sort of enemies when it comes to replastering. But I know what you're saying. It hangs and it hangs and it hangs. Like I've done some ceilings where people